Hello, lovely people. It's great to be able to spend some time with you, just sharing a few thoughts for reflection. I'm sitting here up in my study on a very hot afternoon, and my apologies to you if the video quality isn't brilliant because I'm not the most techie of human beings. I wanted to take the opportunity to share with you from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30, and I'm going to be reading it from the Message version, which I think brings the words of Jesus alive in a very different way. And whilst I'm going to read to you from verse 28 of Matthew 11 onwards, verse 27 says that Jesus spoke to the people tenderly. So I want you to hear these words with the tenderness of Jesus in his voice, his intimate knowledge of us and our circumstances and how we're feeling right now as he says these words. And these words contain an invitation. God is always offering us moment by moment invitations to join in with what he's doing and to come to him and know him in relationship. But let me just read you this passage. Matthew chapter 11 verses 28 to 30. And Jesus says, "Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly." Glorious words of invitation and promise. And Jesus here speaks to three human conditions, and these are just examples. He's actually talking about whatever situation we find ourselves in, whatever condition we're feeling in. And he first of all talks about being tired, weary, fed up, stressed. Don't we all know quite a lot about that at present? Or just, that tiredness that comes from feeling just a bit low all the time. Or for some of us, we're just plain fed up of all this and wish our lives could get back to normal, or whatever that is going to be. And for some of us, we're tired not because of lots of activity, but because we haven't got a lot to do, and we're lonely and perhaps particularly missing human touch and human contact. So tiredness is one condition he speaks to here. Another one, he talks about being weary, and weariness, that aching tiredness and inner tiredness that comes from constantly juggling things. And some of us are having to do that in a way that we've not had to do for a long time, in terms of juggling children and work and expectations and anxiety. I'm going to depress you at this rate, so I better stop. And all of us ticking along underneath, there's that underlying anxiety, isn't there? And the third condition he talks about is if you're burned out on religion. And maybe in this context, this world in which we find ourselves, it's finding it difficult to pray. Things like those bigger questions that we may or may not keep at the front of our minds about where is God in all this? Why is God allowing all this? What is happening here? Thought God, was a big God, and yet all this is going on in the world. And into those situations and human conditions, whatever we're feeling right now, whether in fact we're the opposite of that, and we're quite upbeat and quite enjoying life at present, whatever our situation, God, through Jesus, issues an invitation to us. And he says, come to me, walk with me, keep company with me, work with me, watch how I do things. And then the little phrase I really want to concentrate on, learn the unforced rhythms of grace, that beautiful, generous, grace-filled love of God that sees the beauty and the sacred potential of every one of us. Grace, that undeserved, lavish love of God and favour on our lives. And he promises lots of things. Mind you, these verses are amazing. There's so much packed into them. Not only are these range of invitations to us, but he says, you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. So much there to think about, but let's just focus on unforced rhythms of grace. Rhythm is an interesting word, isn't it? Our world, foundational in our world, is rhythm. This world that God created, rhythm is all around the place. Music. I found myself singing along to Barry White the other day, I confess. And I don't know what my neighbours thought as his deep tones filled the house. And rhythm in music, whether you're into jazz or classical or punk or whatever it is, rhythm is part of our lives. And when I get the opportunity, I take my dog for a walk down by the sea, my lovely Dylan Spaniel, and he swims in the sea, and there's a rhythm to the waves. They just keep coming, one after the other, just keep coming. And another type of rhythm that this reminded me of was heartbeat, the rhythm of a heart beating, 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 and the heartbeat of God's love for us. He loves us, and that love is deep and passionate. So I'm going to stop talking, because those of you who know me know I get enthusiastic about these things, and I need to stop and give us space for time and reflection. So I'm going to suggest you find a quiet time of day and place, that you accept Jesus' invitation to come to him. He says, "Come to me." And however you do that, whether that's that simple prayer, "Here I am, Lord. Here are you, Lord. Here are we together." Or, "Here I am, I've come, Lord, to be with you." However you do it, if it's just sitting quietly, but come to Jesus. And I give you a couple of questions to reflect on. As you do so, a video, hopefully, of waves and the rhythm of the waves breaking on the beach. It's a Californian beach we'll be playing. Watch those waves, listen to those waves, see and feel the rhythm, the relentlessness and unceasing nature of them as a picture of the grace of God for us, that unforced rhythm of grace that he wants to work in our lives. And as you reflect on that ceaseless, beautiful rhythm of the waves, ask yourselves, where do I need God's grace in my life right now? Where do I need God's grace just to keep coming into my life in that ceaseless, intentional way, like the waves? And then perhaps on another occasion, and other occasions, and other occasions, I'd encourage you to be asking, what is God's invitation to me right now, here in this place? What is he inviting me into? It could be to come to him. It could be to keep company with him, as he says in these verses. It could be to watch how he does things, or it may be just more of that grace. So two things. One is, for now, where is it that I need God's ceaseless rhythm, beautiful rhythm of grace in my life right now, today, to keep coming into my life like the waves? And then at other times, take a moment, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, what is God's invitation to me now? What is God's invitation to me today? What is he inviting me to join him in and to experience him in? What does intimacy with him mean for me today? Come to me, keep company with me. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. May God bless you and keep you, and enjoy the sea as you see it on this video. This will now just play out as you reflect on God's grace and that wonderful unforced rhythm of it in our lives and where we need it.